What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Creative Hunter podcast. This is episode 45 with Tyler GRETHEN. Tyler is the marketing manager at Weatherby, so super good dude. A lot of the stuff they're doing over there at Weatherby is kind of headed up by Tyler. They've been doing some awesome films, some just awesome marketing and content, so definitely go check them out. I've already had actually a few guys from Weatherby. I've had Kobe, I've had Sean, both good dudes that work there and are just part of that team. I wanted to let you guys know real quick, I have some new hats on the website. I've got a beanie and then a trucker hat and then like a 5-panel, super comfortable, like soft hat. All on the website, brand new, got a few colors available. If you want one, go check them out. Use the code podcast15. You'll save some money on my website, and it helps support me and support my family, support the business as we're going through. So anyways, thanks you guys for listening. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Let's get to it. Get out.
Nice. You have any big projects planned yet?
Yeah, I have a couple personal projects. So we got like a couple archery deer hunts. Me and Kobe are gonna go do a deer hunt in Idaho. I don't have any brand projects yet that I'm working on, but those usually come up like midsummer to end of summer,
Yeah, when people
So,
start seeing what they draw and what new products they need to do this fall and all that good stuff.
yeah, exactly. What are your plans?
Oh man, I was just looking at that this morning. I'll
Nice.
I'll probably do early rifle Wyoming deer. That's kind of my thing. I want to do a lot more deer hunting this year. So I'll
Nice.
probably do there we have a season that's a general tag that is like a September 15th through the 25th. So I think I'm gonna put a lot of time into that. Um for probably for work and honestly personal if it doesn't go well. So I'd like to do that. A little bit of archery elk. Um yeah, it'll be a good mix of personal hunts and Weatherby hunts. Trying to think if we have anything super big. No, I mean, and then I'm supposed to draw Montana combo, so I think me and Cobe are gonna do a little side project there. So
Nice.
yeah, should be fun.
That'll be rad, dude.
Yeah,
Be way
should be
fun.
good.
Good. Do you with Weatherby, do you guys plan your hunts out pretty far in advance?
We do. So we actually, it's funny. We have a hunts meeting next week. It's not every business you get to be like, oh, we are gonna have a whole meeting about hunts.
That's so
Um,
cool.
but no, this is like that time of year to be like, who needs to put in certain places? Who's gonna draw stuff? What is our new product lineup? So we typically, it's probably about every other month that we actually do have hunt plan stuff. Just again, we do a lot of our stuff, like personal stuff, but then it's like a lot of it's centered around new product or product that we need more assets around. So we try to double dip because hunting is still hunting, right? We do a lot of DIY stuff, so you're not sure. Like if you take a new product, I jokingly say we're going to pay the bills. We're going to go and we're going to get really good assets for like either launch videos or social and all of these things because we have like a whole thing on what we do when we do like how do we bring a product to market, and then the hunt part is gravy, right? If you can do a good hunt film and story, some of them we try to have a storyline built out before, but then it's hunting, so the story really takes itself like someplace. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of like the two-part thing when I'm thinking of like work, like hunts for work. It's like, okay, what do we need to get, and then if the actual hunting going well is great, like gravy, I guess, because we produce a lot of films. So
Yeah. You guys do an amazing job on all those films. So Kobe's freaking awesome.
yeah, Cope's pretty awesome. He's come a long way too.
Oh yeah.
He's really fun. His he was really talented before, but then just like having like his skills have just also just like especially on the video side has just absolutely exploded. So it's been fun working with him and seeing that growth. I think I don't even know if he had really edited a full film by himself before he got the job here. I know he had done a lot of field producing stuff, but doing that, controlling the whole process film to post production. So it's been fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. He's got to get a lot of reps in with you guys, which is kind of probably like the biggest reason he's progressed so far. And just the people that you guys have there. But like he's got a lot of reps in throughout the whole year because you guys are constantly doing hunts and films and stuff, and
Yeah,
it's been good.
for we don't do any marketing agencies either. So Weatherby, like a lot, it's pretty common for a lot of bigger brands to have marketing agencies. So a lot of time the in-house guy sits in his dang chair the whole time, but not us. We definitely get out there and do our own, and we love doing this. It's just kind of our brand. Our brand is small enough that it has a good personality. Um, and yeah, we at the end of the day, we're we're all hunters here, so it kind of makes it easy to double dip. Um, we would be going hunting anyway, so it's really fun.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So what is your role at Weatherby? What's your job title?
Yeah,
Just
so
remind
I'm
me.
the marketing manager at
Okay,
Weatherby.
nice.
So that means a lot of different things, many places, but I feel like my job is just dependent on the day. But essentially, I lead our whole marketing team, and then doing like bringing products to market, so product launches, so any of that stuff all starts with my team, and then emails, website, ads, and then I do all the media buying and PR. So what that means is like when we're buying magazine ad space or digital ad space, and then I'm the guy who interacts with all of our like writers and gets guns seeded into stories and all that good stuff. So and then partnerships. I do partnerships and then the kind of the conservation partnerships as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's cool, dude. Did you go to school for that, like for marketing?
I sure did not. I did business. So I was a
Okay.
ag business major, and
Oh, nice.
I did use my degree out of school. I was a commodities trader, which is just a fancy way of being a stock market for agricultural stuff. So I did that for 3 years before moving into the outdoor space.
Cool. Tell me, I know you guys, I don't know if you guys talk, I haven't listened to it, but you guys did a podcast about working in the hunting space the other day. I need to listen to it, but you might have gone over this. Tell me just about like your journey and how you got into it, because a lot of people want to, right? And I'd
Yeah,
love to hear like your story.
it's funny. There's always different ways to get into the industry.
Oh
So
yeah.
mine was, yeah, out of school, I got a job, was my degree. It was a pretty lucrative job, and it kind of moved me all over the place. And I actually hated my day-to-day job. It was terrible. Like I was good at it. It's just math and reading markets and doing all of the things. But I didn't like it. So after my first year at this job, part of the job program when you're a trader essentially. When you're new, they put you in different business units. So I lived in Kansas City, Missouri, and then I got to the first group I was with was part of Colorado. So we had an office in Colorado, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I got to go out there for a couple months. And then they pull you out of that and then they move you somewhere else. So I lived in North Carolina for 6 months and I traded export markets, which sounds riveting, I know. But after that, I kind of checked all the boxes of like needing to be a trader. And I was going to actually quit then. I hated my job. But they're like, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to move to Colorado. I want to be full time in the Colorado office. And they're like, sure, okay. So I moved out to Colorado. Started kind of building again. It's kind of a sales job, but it's kind of a market job, and it's pretty intricate. But yeah, I was out in Colorado for 2 years, and that's where I hadn't even really seen the mountains at that point in my life, other than the couple weeks that I was there in Colorado. I'm like, this is great. So I grew up whitetail hunting, doing all that stuff, but then really transitioned into archery elk when I lived out there. It's pretty awesome. And yeah, so after like 2 years of living there, um, it's just like my job like wouldn't even allow me to go hunting. Like you work all year and then our busiest time is during the fall. And it's like I hate this job. I'm like living for the weekend. So I just decided I had just gotten a promotion. And I'm like, I'm gonna be stuck doing this for the rest of my life if I don't do something different. So I just decided to quit my job. Um I quit. I kind of had something planned. My hometown, Columbia, Missouri, is when I had been gone for that 3 years, Smith and Wesson built a giant facility in my hometown, and it's called American Outdoor Brands now. They are no longer together, but they have this brands, and it's like 20 different like accessory brands. So it'd be brands that you would know, like Caldwell, like lead sleds. I don't know if you know what that is, but they're kind of like a Vista Outdoors. They own 20 different outdoor brands. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna work there. And I put in an application. I did not get the job. So now I'm like, I don't have a job. And I was like kind of okay with that. And my parents had just moved to Wyoming. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go be a packer for I'm gonna volunteer my time, live with my parents, and just be a packer because I'd saved up a bunch of money. Um, well, after I didn't get that job for American Outdoor Brands, the HR recruiter lady's like, "Hey, you didn't get this job, but you're like qualified for like a bunch of these other jobs." So essentially, I got my start in the outdoor industry by just getting a foot in the door. So I started in sales at American Outdoor Brands. I was on the international team, so selling to Canada, New Zealand, Europe, um, Australia, Mexico, all the places. So that was kind of how I got my foot in the door, and that was 8 years ago now.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah,
That's
I
cool.
tell people if you want to get in the outdoor industry, you better not like money that much to start, because a lot of your foots in the door are like. So I probably made half. It was probably half the salary of what I was making from my like from that lucrative job to getting into the outdoor industry. And essentially, I was like, but I didn't care. It's like the life I wanted to live was over here, and it's like that money part. It's like, man, if you love something, like the money part will figure it out. Is kind of how I saw it. So I was like, I'm gonna bet on myself, and this is gonna work out.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
So yeah, from there though, I'd always wanted to work in marketing. I just love the storytelling. I love the idea of bringing like building a brand, bringing products to market, all those things. So I was at American Outdoor Brands for probably a year and a half, and I could have either got a promotion in sales or I could take kind of a lateral position and just the job I applied for was marketing coordinator. So it was really just like doing all the entering orders, running social, doing all those things. So I decided to go that way because it had a better path for what I wanted to be. So
Yeah. Cool. And then at what point did you end up at Weatherby?
yeah, so after doing the marketing coordinator job for a while, I was able to get promoted to a brand manager. So I was in charge of a brand at AOB, and that was called Meat Your Maker. It's the
Okay,
meat
yeah.
processing direct to consumer brand. So that was like a brand new brand for American Outdoor Brands. It was just one that they started. It wasn't anything that they bought. Um, so I got to be in charge of that, and that's how I ended up meeting the Weatherby guys. Essentially, I was running a the industry is just really small. So I was running an event called it was a field to table event. So essentially, we had this big media event in Texas where we had writers and influencers, and Weatherby was a part of it. And what we did is we took these writers, we sighted in Weatherby rifles, we then like hunted hogs and whitetail, but then we transitioned that into like a class of like butchering, right? A butcher class. So essentially identifying primal cuts and then like getting the most out of your meat and all this stuff. So then we would then use meat processing our meat gear, process that animal ourselves, do the whole thing, and then we did a bunch of cooking stuff. And Luke Torkeldsen, so he's my boss, he's the COO of Weatherby, happened to be on that trip. It was kind of funny. When we were talking the other day, I was kind of naive. I didn't really exactly know. I just knew that he's the marketing guy. I didn't know how he was like at that time the vice president essentially of all Weatherby. I'm like, ooh, didn't really know that, but through that we met and kind of hit it off, did the whole thing, and then it was probably 7 or 8 months later. Um, I hit up John, who was also at the event. His name's John Solberg. He's our national sales manager here at Weatherby. I was looking for an industry. I was trying to buy a rifle. I was like, hey, that 6.5 RPM that we were using on that event, I want a new whitetail rifle or whatever. And then something that would be like a good caliber that I could go out west with and hunt like mule deer and antelope and all this good stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, that's a great one for that. Oh, by the way, we have this marketing job open, and you would be great for it. I'm like, huh, cool. Okay. Well, then I did my gun order, and it was like 2 weeks later, and I sent it back, and I still hadn't applied. He's like, hey, I heard that they might close this job. You really should apply. So, and I was extremely happy at Meet. It was like one of those things where it's like I was in my hometown. I was doing a job that I loved. I mean, I was a brand manager, which is essentially kind of like a marketing manager. It was kind of my dream job. I got to do some product development. I got to do all the marketing. It was pretty awesome. But Weatherby was just like one of those brands that's like, oh, I would definitely move for Weatherby. And it was in Wyoming. My parents had moved to Wyoming, and just like the thought of like getting tags every year, I was just like, let's do this thing. So I ended up applying, and yeah, the rest is kind of history. I got the job. So
Nice, dude. And then how long have you been there at Weatherby?
3 years now.
Okay.
So it was just
Nice.
Adam Weatherby. He was in my office this morning, and we were just talking about like time being relative, and it's like feels like I started like last week, but then it also feels like I've been here for 10 years already.
Yeah. That's cool, dude. Have
Yeah.
What's some of the coolest things that you've seen with Weatherby being a part of it for 3 years? Just yeah, whatever comes off, whatever you think of first.
Yeah, honestly, with Weatherby, we've just been really cranking out new products. I feel like our product development and then just that marketing story has just been on point. So
Yeah.
since I've been here, it sounds crazy to say, but we've probably launched 20 or 30 different models. One of the biggest is the Model 307, the Alpine CT, but the action itself, like Weatherby had the Mark V action and the Vanguard action, and those were developed over 50 years ago. I mean, the Mark V's older than that. Vanguard's been around for 50 years. And then so we brought a new action to market. So that was just like a beast of like trying to tell that story. So the cool thing about Weatherby is that we have a rich history. But that can be also challenging being able to layer in new things with like staying true to the brand and all those things. So we kind of have to approach it a little bit different than just like new age, like, oh, here's new gear, new stuff. There's just kind of a Weatherby way too. So like being able to explain all of that and keeping that brand standard is pretty fun. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that. And then honestly, the film side too. Before Weatherby, there had always been a few films, but we just are like cranking out content too. We just have a team. I think my pretty much our whole marketing team uh is kind of new too. Like Kobe has been new. We added a social media guy, DJ, who can also film and edit. Um, and then our web guy, he started shortly before I did. So we have like a team with like real fresh ideas, and we've been kind of again rebranding an older brand, I guess. Like Weatherby is still Weatherby, but we're bringing some kind of new looks and feel. Like we've completely redone our website, redone the way we even think about content. So
Yeah. I think that, I mean, I've seen that stuff. Like, I feel like every like month I'm like, oh, there's another rifle from Weatherby, drop it
yeah,
or something, you know? It's kind of funny.
yeah. So we've done a couple big things, and that's not even counting shotgun stuff. So we've
Yeah.
done a bunch of shotgun stuff as well. Uh, but yeah, those are probably the highlights. And then one of our other brands. So Weatherby is Weatherby, and then we have our Peak 44 brand, which is kind of a part of Weatherby. It's where we do all our accessories and carbon fibers and tripods and all of the things that are good for Weatherby, but we branded that one different because there's applications that are for non-Weatherby products as well. So
Right.
that one has also been fun. I mean that brand is only 4 or 5 years old, and we're seeing like that crazy exponential growth. Like when you get something new, you just see those percentages going up. It's really fun to kind of unlock those things that they kind of had a really good idea, but then we're just kind of unlocking the potential.
That's cool. That's way cool. Um, so rifles are interesting because like someone could buy a rifle and that rifle can last them literally a lifetime. So what is your guys' approach when it comes to trying to get people to come back and buy more rifles, like get that return clientele?
Yeah. The fun thing is there's lots of different calibers. So, and new models and new technology, but we get every show season, we'll get 30 or 40 guys per show. They'll be like, hey, I have a 300 Weatherby from like the 1960s, which is pretty awesome. So honestly, at the end of the day, it is a little bit hard because it's not a consumable, but it's just the way we do it is just like we do just create a quality product. And when you do that, then you can kind of build your customer base on case use, right? I think gear has been, guns are kind of gear, but gear has really evolved in the last 10, 15 years. So it's like now people don't just have a gun. They have their elk gun, they have their mule deer gun, they have their bear gun, they have their whitetail gun. So and then just shooting sports in general. I think it's fun to tinker. People who buy multiple rifles are definitely tinkerers. So yeah, it's just honestly at the end of the day, if you have good products and you build that brand side, the sales will come. So yeah, I think that's how we get people coming back. I think it's pretty funny. The Weatherby guys are like Weatherby guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they buy into the whole system and it's fun. We have our own Weatherby cartridges. If you're not like a super into rifles, there's like 308 or 300 Win and a lot of those things, but then on a what we chamber pretty much all of our rifles and some of that stuff like 7 PRC, but we do a lot of Weatherby cartridge stuff, which is typically very similar but just faster, a little bit better killing power, all that good stuff. So we have like 300 Weatherby, we have 3378, we've got 16 proprietary cartridges that we load as well, so it's pretty fun.
Yeah. No, that's cool. How much do you get to be involved in the product development as a marketing guy?
So I'm kind of definitely the bridge for our team. So I get to do quite a bit. JD, I don't know, did you meet JD at Western
Yeah.
Hunt?
Yeah.
So JD's in charge of product development, and then my boss Luke, he's both of our bosses. So we have a lot of good synergy there. A lot of our products are just one based on like I get a lot of customer feedback, right? I get to go to the shows, they do shows and things too, but we're kind of that forward facing of Weatherby, so we get to hear a lot of like things that customers want and need. So we communicate with product development every single day, and then there's projects that are we have some projects that are faster, but so we do get a big part of that. It's like, hey, this is what we're seeing in the market. These are the trends we're seeing, and then we'll work with them, and then typically, it depends on the product, but we'll get anywhere from 2 weeks on a product sometimes on, oh, we got to launch this thing to we get, years of development and input there.
Yeah. That's cool. That's something that like interests me a ton is product development and just like testing stuff and just building cool things. That's like something that I find fascinating. Pretty cool.
Yeah, product development is like a fun balance of trying to solve problems and bringing something new. So there's
Yeah.
like, hey, you got to have all the things that people want now, but then you have to be forward thinking. It's like, what is a problem that someone has now or is going to have? Or because if you're like only solving today's problems, by the time you develop and do a whole product, then you're behind already. So it's like, where is the market going? Where are the trends going? How can you be ahead of that? And then on new products, like, how can you set that trend, right? You don't want to just be on the trends, right? You want to set new standards. You want to do new things. So yeah, product development is fun. If I wasn't doing marketing, I would definitely do product development because it's fun getting to do like specking out a whole rifle, being like, ooh, we need to make a rifle that hits this price point, has these features. How do we make that happen? And then it's like, well, we can't do this. So it's like, well, it's gonna be this much. It's like, oh, that's a good cost value. Let's upgrade it to that. We could definitely sell that feature, right?
Yeah. No, that's cool. Um, I'd love to
Because
get
you've
your
been doing a
or go
bunch.
for it.
You've been kind of working on your own stuff too.
Oh
I
yeah.
think I don't have it on my desk, but I had some like the Bino visor,
Yeah.
right? So you've
Yeah.
been kind of diving into that a little bit.
Yeah. No, it's been fun. That's kind of the only thing that I've like got so far, but I've working on some little changes to it that will just make it better, for the next go around. And there's always like ideas of like, oh, maybe I could make this or do that. But so it's kind of fun. You know, there's a lot going on there. But yeah, that's kind of like my first go at it, and it's pretty cool. Like no one else has ever done anything like it. So
Yeah, it's pretty rad. How did you feel taking that first risk when you had to purchase? How is navigating all that for you?
yeah. So well, at first it was pretty easy because it's such an easy product to build that I like hired one of my friends to make it, and she's like super crafty. So she just like started making a few of them as I would get orders in, and and then went for like the Hunt Expo. I wanted to get a bunch of them, and she was like having a baby like the weekend or like the 2 weeks after the Hunt Expo. So I'm like, she doesn't need to like do this. So I found a manufacturer, bought like over 200 of them, and I don't know, dude. It was at that point I'd already sold some. I knew that they worked. I knew that like people would buy them if like I could just get it in front of people. And so I didn't feel like it was too crazy of a risk and like did the math and it worked out. Um, so bought a bunch of them and I still have a bunch from I probably have sold almost like a third or a half of the ones that I ordered. So I still have a bunch of them that I'm going through as people order them. But um, yeah, I think that I already had that like proof of concept that they'll work. So I didn't feel like it was too crazy of a risk for me, right? But I could
Yeah.
see how on some products, like either the profit margins aren't quite as good, or you don't have that like market share and the marketing in place yet to like even sell it. So I could see at times that it could be super like stressful almost going through with that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's cool to I mean, but at the end of the day, it's all about like like that risk reward, right? You have to take risks. Um, and obviously those were pretty darn calculated, so it's pretty cool to see though. Are you like so you're like you're enjoying it, so you're like I'm gonna do keep building products or what is your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Um, I want to keep building products. The thing I just haven't had any like ideas of like this is what I want to this is the next thing I want to do yet, right? I just haven't got there. And it'll probably come. And maybe I'll think of something, but I'm not going to waste my time trying to just like brainstorm and think of something,
Yeah.
force it, right? Um, it's kind of my thought process right now, but I love the process of it and testing new things and trying something out and building something. So I'm sure there'll be more stuff down the road that'll come up. But yeah, no, it's fun, dude. Yeah. Have you been a part of like really the hands-on of like testing little things and getting out in the field and trying stuff out?
Yeah, the most probably product at Weatherby. So I did a lot more at my last job just because that was like truly like an accessories thing. And we were, a lot of that is like working with engineers and like doing like product sourcing and like tweaking things that are like, and when I say product sourcing, like literally like things from China, like getting like big things made.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more like lead times and planning and obviously you don't want like most of the time there's a lot of things that are already kind of built, but then where you get the quality is then you take it and fine tune it and like give your standard. So I got to do a lot of that at me. But then here at Weatherby, one of my biggest ones is I got to do the Sorg shotgun. That started me and Kyle, who's the shotgun product manager. We're pretty passionate waterfowl hunters too. And there definitely are a few other waterfowl hunting guys in the office, but not as much as what Kyle and I do. So when we started to design that one, we were truly like, what do we want as a waterfowl hunter? So from there, um, I don't actually do anything scientific. I just break stuff. So I would take it out, give feedback, be like, oop, I'm having this feeding issue or that. What if we did this color? I gave all that feedback and then they do all the tuning and all that stuff. So yeah, I've gotten to be a part of quite a few projects like that, which is pretty fun. Um, yeah, so more on the shotgun side here at Weatherby.
Yeah. That's cool though.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. No, it's fun. I've enjoyed kind of diving into it. I love talking to people about it because like it's just it's a kind of like creative like outlet a little bit for some. It's like figuring that stuff out. It kind of that's what it's like for me. Is just like I'm a creative person in a bunch of things, and so like figuring out how to make something and make it better is just fun. So
Yeah, it's like the same concept, just different medium, right? Like
oh yeah,
from building a video, I mean, versus, building a product. There's very similar like crossover there.
yeah,
More than you would think.
yeah. No, it's true. It's true. Yeah. So I'd love to kind of switch gears. I want to ask you about what advice you would give someone who wanted to go into marketing and maybe not even hunting specifically, but just like marketing in general. Um, yeah, what are some things you would say to someone who's maybe like 20 years old or something who's like thinking about that path?
Yeah, I would say learning a hard skill too. The more skills that you have, the more marketable yourself is. Like think of you as like a product, right?
Yeah.
If you can be a graphic designer, if you can have video skills, like that might not be your main jam, but being like willing to learn those things and have some of those skills before. I always tell, like, if I could go back in college, I probably would do graphic design and business management. Just graphic design is a very like I could use that more in my day-to-day job than like me being a business management guy. So I think trying new things, that would be definitely my biggest like, hey, you should learn how to do these hard skills. Because if you can do that, graphic design is very interesting in the sense of if you have a marketing type mind, you can build emails, you can build flyers, you can build ads, you can build a lot of things. You can build social graphics. There's I think the video side is cool, but there's just a lot more application on the true graphic design side when it comes to being a true marketing guy.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. That does. Um, and then how much do you deal with like analytics?
Quite a bit. That's like another good one would be because that's a whole. We don't do it as much on the Weatherby side because with firearms you can't do a lot of paid ad stuff. But analytics, like there's a deep dive into if you have like a product that you can run ads. That's like a whole nother job. It's like that's the e-commerce marketing side, right? So when we're going through like web page visits, I get to do a little bit of the ad stuff on the Peak 44 stuff, but we like when we do an e-blast, like there's a lot of like what is your click through? Why is this performing? Why didn't it perform? You can test subject lines. You can do a whole lot of different things. And for Weatherby, we do direct consumer sales. Most firearm companies don't do that, so we do pay a lot of attention to that because we're selling rifles on our website. And there's man, there is a rabbit hole to where you could be like abandoned cart and like, why is this person not checking out? If they're not checking out because it's a bad process, how can we make that better? Or can we retarget them with an email? There's a lot that goes into the analytics side, and it's hard. I would be really hard to be like, hey, you need to jump into this, but that's all like self-taught stuff. I can't recommend you take this class or anything. It's just like you got to do it. And when you're looking at these data points, you just got to be like, what is driving that? It doesn't matter if it's a bad number or a good number. That's all relative, right? It's more of like the why behind it. Like our email gets crazy good open rates, like our email list. Like we have a very engaged group, and it's funny to see what really makes those guys tick as far as like click through and then also like purchasing. And it's not always our goal to get someone to purchase because we are trying to drive people to dealers and like just hear about it. So yeah, there's a lot of analytics that go into it.
Yeah. We're doing a bunch of analytics in school right now for some of my classes, but it's mostly social analytics. but still kind of a lot of the same idea.
Yeah, that's a whole nother beast. So DJ does most of that, but
Yeah.
we do go through like what is your like social engagement. A lot of things for good video content is how long did they actually like what is your bounce rate? So how long are you actually viewing that? It's like why is that? But then it's also comparing like what is a good view rate. Um and then there's a lot when you jump into that. I'm sure you guys are also learning. Are you guys doing anything? You're doing it as social or social like advertising? Which part or both?
It's both. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's both.
because it's like with today's bandwidth too, you have about a second and a half to grab someone's attention. So a lot of that is important when you are actually advertising, because then you get into ROAS, which is return on your ad spend, and calculating what is an acceptable one for your business. There's a lot of mixed messages on what you want your ROAS to be, but it's also very industry specific. So, yeah, there's a lot that goes into that too. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, people, I guess people working in the industry should know all that stuff, especially if you're in like social media or marketing, because it's a huge part of it. But yeah, it's kind of fun to dive into sometimes and just learn
yeah, it
about it.
is. And there is a lot of people that don't even know what any of that stuff is, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But we monitor it pretty quickly, like closely, and we'll go and we'll do reviews on social. Like we'll do like how did this launch perform compared to another successful launch? Because every launch is different for us, but there's a we have a playbook, right? This is what we do when we launch a product. And then it's like we look at other industries and like, hey, how can we make this better? How did this perform against us? But then it's like, ooh, there's a cool idea that I saw in running shoes, right? So
Hmm.
it's typically you don't want to, from a marketing standpoint, you don't want to copy other people in the outdoor industry in the sense of like the outdoor industry is, oh, the joke is that they're 10 years behind, 20 years
Yeah.
behind on all that stuff. It's like, what are some of these other like innovative uh industries doing now? It's like, oh, that's what we need to be doing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's a fun mix.
Yeah. What are some of those industries that you find the most inspiration from?
So I do a lot of like the running community stuff right now.
Nice.
I'm kind of into that's kind of what I'm into right
Okay.
now. I do a lot of then like some like watch marketing stuff too. I like doing that. And then I just kind of like hyper focus too on, it's funny when I'm not working. It's like, what is a big purchase that I'm buying that's like could relate? It's like, how is my customer journey there? How do I uh how am I interacting to make this purchase, right? So shoes is a good one too. It's like things that you buy every day. It's like, how are they doing their marketing? And I think that's kind of fun. And yeah, I try to relate that back to me. So with marketing, you can't just be good at social. Like you got to think of like consumers on how they buy and consume content. Everyone does it different. Some people love lifestyle videos, right? Some people want to watch just a really boring product video. They're like tell me what the features are in a minute. That's what I want. Some people want to listen to a podcast. Like on All of our new products, we do podcasts. So for me, I try to have our team diversify for every customer that's different. Like, and we aren't super heavy in any like vertical of marketing because you have to have a real balanced approach. There's going to be the guys who only read print. There's going to be the guys who hit Google and like Google your product, and you want to have a lot of good SEO articles there because people are going off reviews. So we product seed a lot of stuff. We give away a lot of stuff. That's how those organic type things pop up on Google. It's like those don't always just happen, right? It starts with someone here at Weatherby building that relationship or them reaching out and buying a product. So I try to think of like, are we reaching every consumer? You can't reach every consumer, but if you think of it like that way, I'm like I want like a Matthews launch video. That's what I want. That's
Yeah.
what gets me
Right.
fired up. I want the Matthews flagship bow model launch. That's the video I want to consume. Uh, but not everyone likes that. When I show the video to some people, they're like, "Oh no, I didn't see that." I'm like, how did you not see this? So, uh, it's doing your content that way too.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that. Like, yeah, different people are gonna respond to different ways of marketing. So yeah, that's good, dude. I like that. Um, last thing, and then we'll wrap it up. What are you excited for right now in Weatherby in life, whatever?
Man, okay, I'll do one. I'll do one hunting one
Okay.
first. Right now, I am excited about big mule deer. I'm gonna hunt Wyoming and Montana pretty darn hard. I've killed a few elk, and it's either I want to do big elk or I'm going all in on mule deer. I mean, I've killed a bunch of whitetails and done all that stuff when I lived in the Midwest, but like, there's just something I've not killed a big mule deer.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my obsession right now on the hunting side. Um, but on the non-hunting side, I don't know why I've gotten into running a lot. I know I don't look like a runner, but I've kind of got this like I want to get better in shape for hunting season. And I don't know, I've been running a lot. So last year I did a 32-mile trail run, and this year I'm doing a 52. So
Nice.
I've been doing a lot of running
That's
here
awesome.
lately. And yeah, so I'm gonna do the big horn trail run, which is here in or near Sheridan, and I'm gonna do the 52-mile run. So that's I've been pumped. There's this I like to look at brands that have good marketing, and there's this like there's a there's like a running endurance brand called Bear Performance, and they do a really good job.
Oh
So I've
yeah,
been like
I know them.
watching his marathon prep videos, and
Yeah.
they're super intriguing.
Oh, that's
So
cool. Yeah, I
that's
love
been
his
lighting my
stuff.
fire here lately.
Nice. That's cool, dude. Yeah, no, I run every day. I I did a 37-mile ultra like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And then since then I still run. I just haven't done anything crazy, but I thought about it. I want to. So maybe maybe if not this year, next year I'm gonna do something. We'll see.
Yeah, and I'm like wanting to kind of reshape my body a little bit. I've always been like the linebacker type, where more of like a gym rat. Like I'm 6 foot and I'm like 215 pounds. Like I'm kind of thick. So
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm all in on like changing just to be a better better hunter, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
so I've done a ton of backcountry stuff, but I don't know. I just want to get better. Like there's part of me that's like, I never want to see an animal and be like, that's too far. I want to know to go. All right. So, and if you can do 52 miles in 10 hours, there's not much in the mountains that's going to stop you. So,
Yeah. What's your running program look like right now?
so right now I've been doing about 4 to 6 miles a day on my easy days. So I'm trying to do three easy days per week, and then a long run, and then more of a tempo run too. So I'm like a 5 days a week right now. I've just really started ramping it up. So like
Nice.
last week I did 25. I've been doing some walking too, so I'm kind of building up to it. But this week I'll be probably around 35. I'm at 30 now, and I'll probably do another 5 or 10. I'll progressively get more once the mountains start melting. It's a little hard right now with trails. So,
Oh yeah.
but over the next 3 months, my race is in June. I would like to be in that 50-mile range, 50 to 60 miles a week range with a lot of climbing. So with
Nice.
ultras, trail running, it's like really fast hiking essentially a lot of the time. So, like my goal will be around a 12-minute mile pace.
Yeah. Heck yeah, dude. That'll be cool. I'm excited to hear how that goes for you. It's
Yeah, I
awesome.
will. What are you excited about right now? What's got you turning between the ears?
Right now, bear season. I'm like so pumped. I just want to get out and go on a hunt, you know. So that's gonna be fun. We're doing I got a 9-day bear hunt. I'm bringing my bow. Can try and get it done with the bow, spawn stock in
Nice.
Idaho, and then and that's like between my school semesters. So then school starts up again. But I'm excited to be done with school too. It's gonna be fun, and it's kind of nerve wracking because it's like, well, now what, you know? So
Now you're in the real world.
exactly, I gotta like
Yeah,
get a job or something. So
I think Kobe and I are gonna try to we're gonna spring bear hunt.
nice.
Kobe's not killed a bear, so I'd really like him to
That'd be
kill a
cool.
bear. But yeah, we're gonna do some Wyoming stuff. Wyoming's weird because it's a quota system, so you got to bounce around.
Okay,
But yeah, no, I'm
interesting.
excited for that. Well, I'll
Yeah,
do a bunch of turkey stuff too. I'm like back for a month, and then end of April, it'll be busy until the end of May. So
yeah. That's awesome, dude. That'll be fun. Yeah, turkey's cool. I Yeah, my dad has a property down in southern Idaho where I grew up, and there's tons of turkeys. Like it's crazy. So I went out last year with my wife and my sister, and all three of us killed turkeys. So it's kind of fun.
yeah, that's
Like in one
awesome.
morning, it was cool.
Yeah, I did last year a bunch of cool turkey hunts. I always jokingly say like Western turkeys are like not the same as Easterns. They're like
Yeah,
way harder to kill in the Midwest. But last year I did Mississippi, which was pretty awesome. That's just like a really like rich culture of turkey hunting there. Um, so I got to do that with one of my buddies from Onyx. And
nice.
then so we have a film coming out in about 3 weeks. And then I did Kentucky last year as well, and we'll have a film coming out at the end of the month on that one. So, and then filming for next year's stuff, we're going to Missouri, which is my home state, which I'm pumped to do.
That's cool.
Gonna do that one, and then once that trip is over, I'm going back to my hometown to hunt with a bunch of buddies. I'm getting married uh, this
Nice.
summer, and we're gonna do for my bachelor party. We're just gonna turkey hunt. So that's I'm gonna
There
get
you go.
all of my buddies from back home, and I'll probably like you can kill 2 turkeys in Missouri, but I got a couple of like groomsmen who are not hunters, and they have their hunter safety, so it's like I want them to try to kill a turkey. So I
Yeah,
think that's gonna be the kind of the fun thing we get. And I just think it'd be fun that we're doing like an Airbnb like base camp, but then everyone go out and hunt. So I'm hoping that we'll stack
dude,
some
that's so cool.
long beards and should be pretty cool.
That's like the best bachelor party you can do, dude. Just go hunting.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it should be fun. I think it'll be fun. It'll be unique. I'm making them all come out to Wyoming from Missouri for my wedding, so I'm like, I'll come back to you guys and we
Something
won't
cool.
spend any money on the bachelor party. We'll just kill turkeys.
Nice. That's perfect. That's cool, dude. You're getting married. Sean's getting married this summer, right?
Yep, I heard Sean, like Kobe's gonna come up to that one and maybe do some
Yeah.
fishing and some some of those things. So that'd be
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. I live like 30 minutes from Idaho Falls, where Sean is
Where
getting
Sean's getting
married.
married. I think
So
I got his little invitation
nice, nice.
on my desk. So
Heck yeah, dude. Well, good, dude. We'll wrap it up. You can stay on here for just a sec, but thanks for coming on, dude. Where can people find you on like social media?
yeah, just on Instagram I'm just Ty and then Grethen. So just TYGRETHEN. So that's where I post most of all my stuff.
Cool, awesome, dude. Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.